So dope. So now when I do my interviews, I can actually add people's music to the background.
If you had your own theme music, what would it sound like?
If you would have asked me about 3 years ago, I would have had an answer for you. um, I don't know. It would definitely be something. I'll say I wouldn't say alternative hip hop because when you say alternative hip hop, that's when shit starts getting weird. Um, I'd say like some old school boom pap new is hip hop. So it would definitely be along the lines of that. I'm trying to find some music to run in the background of this.
Could you
Someone's
like loop
call.
an instrumental?
Yeah, but I would have to find something that has zero copyright to it.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, because that's why they give us this music and a thing, and so because it's copyright free. Oh yeah, I see you liked my Steve Rogers. He was number one.
Yeah, I thought that show was hilarious.
Uh, shit. But yeah, bro. All I've been really kind of like grinding on my Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit because the deck that I run with is like a dragon. It's a dragon build, but also let me turn this down some. This is loud. It's like a dragon build, but also it's a bit of a blue eyes build at the same time. So I don't like I said I don't want to call it like a blue eyes build or dragon build because there's more than blue eyes in the deck.
Oh, listen, I built my deck just like Kaiba's.
Of course,
To
of
the
course,
fucking crush cards, to the spear dragons, to the different dimension dragon, to the three blue
yeah,
eyes.
yeah. I'm running three blue eyes, three nebula dragons. I think was it three ancient stones. Like I think either one or two sage of blue eyes, and then all that's to lead into XYZ summoning my number 100 Numeron dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
lord. I had three lords of D. Listen,
Oh,
my deck was literally all dragons.
bro, I was playing earlier. I almost got caught up by a dude that was using Lord of D. Almost got caught up until so I have a Draglubion, right? I think Draglubion's like number 91 for an XYZ and for the Numerons. So he sends it to the graveyard, and he had this card that allowed him to at the end of the turn, he's able to take it from my graveyard and special summon it on his side of the field. Then he also played Lord of D, and I'm like, oh, okay, saying, oh yeah, you can't attack. Neither person can attack any dragons on the field. I'm like, all right, dude, you're stupid because I'm using all dragons. I'm using all dragons, so we're end up being at a stalemate here because I can't attack the one dragon you have on the field. You can't attack my one dragon that I have on the field. So kind of at a standstill here. But then I was like, wait, hold up. Lord of D's not a dragon. The spellcaster effect. So I was like, oh, boom, you're gone. Take that out of the way. You're gone. So I use one of my trapdoor effect cards. I can't even remember how I did it, but I got rid of that. Was able to draw another card, and I'm drawing my I had a blue eyes in my hand already, So I drew my Nebula Dragon, which that effect is you can special summon a Nebula Dragon if you have one level 8 other level 8 monster, and you can, so whatever one you reveal, you can also, so you can special summon it if you reveal another level 8 monster dragon in your hand. But you can also, when you special summon it, you can get to special summon the card that you just revealed. So I was able to get my Nebula Dragon, my level 8 Nebula Dragon, Nebula 8 Blue Eyes Dragon out, special summon those, well, to XYZ summon my Draglubion, use Draglubion's effect to special summon 2 more number monsters. So I special summon my number 100, put that down, and then with that I end up using my second one, which is the fucking Dragon Heart or something like that. Which is at number 92. I end up using that as a material for my Numeron. Come out of that, use my Numeron's effect, detach number 92. Now my Numeron gains 1,000 attack points for every XYZ rank on the field. So I already have the level 8 Draglubion on the field, so that's 8,000 right there. Plus it gets 1,000 from itself, so that's 9,000 attack. Boom, clean slate, one hit. It gets nastier too, because if the other person is playing with XYZ monsters, they end up they pretty much screw themselves. They screw themselves. Because as soon as I play that, it counts every XYZ rank on the field, both my side and their side. So let them not end up with a rank 10 monster on the field and I pull that out. It's over. It's over for them. Because I already have it set up. I also have my deck set up so that I can, if the cards work in my favor, I can end up pulling out a level 10 Galaxy Eyes Cypher X Dragon. And that's 10. That's 10 rank right there. So if I'm able to get that out as well as my Numeron out, it's over, dude. That's 19,000 attack damage. The only fault is that that's the only card when I use this effect, that's the only card that I can attack. No matter how many other monsters I have in the field, I can only attack that turn with the Numeron monster. The other problem with that is if I don't get to attack that turn, all that goes to waste because it only gains that attack for that one turn. Yeah. So it's like a live or die situation. If I don't get it out that turn, it's over. It's over for me. But I threw a backup in there, and now I have 2 Numerons and two Draglubions. So I have a backup. If something happens, all the dragons in my deck are level 8. So no matter how I pull it, I also have 3 Blue Eyes alternative dragons in my deck too. So so right there I have 9 level 8 dragons in my deck. And majority of the magic cards in my deck are search. So I can easily, and a lot of the effects of the other blue eyes monsters, dragons I have in my deck are if this goes to graveyard, you can special summon this blue eyes, or this blue eyes, bring this from the grave, this and that. So I'm always able to pull a dragon from somewheres. So it's pretty dope, but it can definitely go wrong. Ash Blossoms are my absolute worst enemy.
What?
Ash Blossom, the Ash Blossom card.
Oh.
Yeah. If you don't know what Ash Blossom is, look it up, bro, and you'll see how much of a pain in the ass that card is. It's to the point where if I go into a duel and I see the guy has Ash Blossom sleeves, I quit. Because they will make you rage quit, bro. It would absolutely, because it negates everything and damn near anything. If you go to use the card effect, it negates your card effect. It negates any magic or spell effects. It negates, and I believe it can also negate an attack as well. So for a deck like mine that focuses on effects and affect cards and affect monsters, it is my worst enemy. It is my. I will not play against somebody that has a goddamn Ash Blossom, because you can have up to 3 of them in your deck.
And how many turns do they last for?
It's once per turn. So if it's on the field, you can use it once per turn. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You can use each effect once per turn, if I remember correctly. And it has 3 effects. So you can choose which one you want to use. Yeah. And I think it's a search card too. So when you do that, when you use it, and if it's effective, Pokemon references, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. I believe you get to draw 3. I think it's like draw 3 cards from your deck, or something like that. But yeah, the card's a menace. It's a goddamn menace. It looks so cute and innocent, but it's a goddamn menace. It's a goddamn menace. All right, perfect. That's running clean. That's good. But shit, yeah, man. Like, bro. Let me just share this live with it. Live. You done. Fantastic. All right, there we go. All right, so I just shared that out too. So hopefully people get to see it. But yeah, man. So Miss Marvel, what is your take on the show so far? Yeah, 5 episodes. We're 5 episodes in.
Well, I don't hate the show because I'm taking it for what it is, and it's one of those things where it shows a very different aspect of life from a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one, but I also feel like it's one of those things like it wasn't made necessarily for our generation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, if you go back and watch like the Disney movies you watched from the 90s as an adult.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like my stepson wouldn't sit down and watch Ninja Turtles. It's
right?
Not, yeah, it's not for him. He sits down and watches this Blippi guy, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, it's just not. So I agree. I agree with all that. It's like, and also, it's also made. It's not only is it not just made for our generation, but it's also not made. It's literally directed towards a specific group of people. Not
This
only
is
that,
true.
a specific gender as well.
Mm-hmm. Very
It's
girl power.
exactly. And even then, like with that Miss Marvel, the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel, she's actually in. They have a whole show animated series with her, Spider Gwen, and Ironheart. There's a whole animated series that Disney was doing with them, and it was doing good. I think it was like something. Yeah, I think it was like something along the lines of girl power. But it's clearly 100%. It's geared towards teenage, teenage women of Muslim descent. You know what I mean? It's not made. It's not made for 30-year-old African American guy in America.
Mm-hmm.
Third, fourth generation American. It's made for the first generation, young Pakistani or Middle Eastern girl who's just now trying to figure out how to balance, between all the cool things that that we have here in America and also her parents' traditionalism as well. Like, so I would say, yeah, I personally enjoy the show. It's really awesome, and it's really nice to see the build up of the character because I was always interested in the character from the time that she came out a few years ago, and I just never got a chance to sit down and read the comic books and learn more about her. You know, so with Marvel's Avengers that dropped a few years ago, we got to see like a nice intro to her. More again, not the original origins of her, but close to it. With her being inhuman and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That was a nice introduction to her to actually get her out there in mainstream. Which even then I felt like really didn't need to be done because she was only like brought into the Marvel universe like maybe what 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
About that. But the whole thing in the show, it's explained that spoiler alert, that she is a jinn.
Mm,
And like my whole thing is like
clandestine.
what'd you say?
I said, yeah, clandestine.
Yes. So it's like as far as that title goes, we don't know. The clandestine could be Inhumans
Exactly.
who snuck away to a different pocket dimension. So it's like that all could come full circle and it could get explained later. I mean, we did see Black Bolt in the Multiverse of Madness, and we have seen the Inhuman show. You know that Inhuman show that which we do not speak of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
I
I'm really
mean,
tempted to see where they're going to go with the whole Inhuman aspect. It might be something they touch base on later on again and try to attempt. It might be something that they just try to skate past because I was always curious what they were going to do with Quake after Agents of Shield ended.
yeah, yeah. And we haven't seen nothing, nothing, nothing from them.
And I miss Daisy Johnson. I really do.
I do too. I feel like that character and even that actress for that character was awesome, perfect. I feel like they had her characters skate away from authority way too much. Um, like continuously giving up being director of Shield, continuously, continuously giving up like being the leader.
Hmm.
Um, but no, I felt like that was awesome. That was great, and to see her go against what's his name, Graviton,
Yes.
and see to see her go against Graviton like that, I highly enjoy that. And then all her adventures out in space and everything, that was great. That was awesome. So I just want to see where they're going with the Inhuman side of things, and hopefully we get something a little more, even more mind blowing than what we've got recently from an Inhuman.
It's a tall order. And that was very special how you put that together like that.
Thank you. It took me a second. I was trying to build it together in my mind. I was trying to figure it out, but yeah, yeah,
I said, what now? Oh, God.
If you guys have not seen um Multiverse of Madness, it's on Disney Plus. You guys got to go see it. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I'm super critical of it just because I've always been a real hardcore fan of the multiverse idea and all those multiversal characters that they brought in. But yeah, I just would like to see them do something better with the Inhumans because even then, like with the clandestine, it's also like so the word clandestine in itself means to keep secret or done secretly, or something like something illicit. Um, so it's
I did not know
instead,
that.
yeah. So when I first heard the word, I looked it up, and the clandestine it's actually a Marvel, a Marvel comic run, And it's actually spelled clan, capital capital C, lowercase LAN, then capital D, lowercase ESTINE. So it's supposed to be clan destined. And it actually was it's supposed to be they were the destined, the ones that over to the side. It was I have to go through. I have to read it myself because, like I said, I never read it. I'm just learning about it. Like when I first saw that episode, but it's an actual Marvel comic book, and it actually has its own storyline to it. So that's something I definitely want to dig more into and see and learn about these clandestine. Um, because again, they also might be taking some creative liberties with the clandestine as well.
True, true.
So let's see here. It says clandestine is a super powered progeny of Adam of Destin and Aleph, a jinn. In recent years, they've become reluctant superheroes due to their youngest family member, the twins Roy and Pandora, developing their powers in adolescence. Hmm. So it definitely looks like they are taking some creative liberties here. Just because from what I'm seeing, a lot of this is Ravencroft. Oh yeah, I'm seeing a lot of X-Men, seeing a lot of wow, this is like they go really like far back in time and stuff. So yeah, they absolutely are taking some creative liberties with this run. Because I'm not even seeing really any real connection to Kamala Khan besides the one chick being a Jin. Members, yeah, I'm seeing nothing connecting them to Kamala Khan. I'm seeing X-Men, I'm seeing Fantastic Four.
Now you think it's just because Kamala Khan's such a new character? It's just one of those things they didn't bother to tie together well.
I think since this is such an old storyline, I think they're going to try to refresh it using Kamala Khan.
Okay.
Because this storyline, let me see, when does this date back? This is like early years. Yeah, this storyline is from '94. Yeah, it's back from '94 by Alan Davis. Appears in various comic book series published by Marvel Comics. Yeah, so they're old. So I think they're trying to refresh them using Miss Marvel and Kamala Khan, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I think that's if you're gonna do it, but make sure you do it right, do it well. What we seen them wipe out like old teams. We've seen them wipe them out and give them completely new looks. So I'll be interested to see what we got going on with this. Um, as in Kamala Khan herself, man, I feel like she's a great character. She has a long way to go as well. Like I said, she's only been out for not even a whole decade yet, and she's already gaining some amazing, awesome traction. And I'm hoping she's going to be in Marvels and Miss Marvels or Captain Marvels, whatever the sequel to Captain Marvel is.
Well, I'm assuming that's why it was called Marvels, because I thought it was going to be the two of them together. Like, how they say, you never meet your heroes. And then she wound up meeting her, and then just either she was a positive influence or a negative influence or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering what they're going to do with Proton, though. Or Spectrum. Because they introduced her in. Well, they introduced, Rambo's daughter, Monica, right? That was her Monica.
Hmm.
No, Monica was her mother, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, well, they introduce baby Rambo and have her become. She's going to become Proton. She already has the suit and everything that we saw in um WandaVision. I don't know why I drew a blank on that. We've seen them in WandaVision already, so I would like to see her as well because she takes up the Captain Marvel moniker for a little while too.
Hmm.
And as we saw in spoiler alert, as we saw in Multiverse of Madness, she is Captain Marvel in Multiverse of Madness. Well, her mother is Captain Marvel in Multiverse of Madness. So I would like to see all three of them. I hope it will be all three of them. I hope it will be all three of them. But at the same time, it kind of throws me off a little bit because like we never got to see that iconic black one piece. But
You
at the
still
same time,
might.
yeah, we still might. But at the same time, I don't want Brie Larson in that.
Listen, man. I mean, look how long it took us for to see Wanda in her classic outfit.
That's true. That's true. And even then, that was a throwaway.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they thought it would go over bad, the whole thing with the tiara and the cape, and but it was a little bit of a fan service when we got to see her in WandaVision in it for Halloween or that Halloween episode, whatever. And then like when Wanda truly embraces her powers as Scarlet Witch, and you see her in like a more, let's say,
modern
version
updated.
of that outfit,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but even then, I wouldn't. I still wouldn't have mind seeing her in the classic outfit as well. Just like a better screen adapted, a little more expensive, classic outfit. I wouldn't have mind that either, because even then,
Mm.
like her classic outfit, it it doesn't look cheesy at all. It actually looks pretty awesome. Um, so I would have definitely been down for that, but I don't know. I definitely don't want Brie Larson to be in that suit because yeah, there's no fan service with that one. Just gonna put it that way. There's no fan service with that one. Um, but yeah, man, it's I like what they're doing. I'm really. I mean, I'll put it this way. I'm not I'm not incredibly happy with what Marvel's doing right now, but I am very much so satisfied. I'm satisfied with it. It's not exactly the direction that I think they should be going in. Because things kind of seem everywhere right now. Like even a lot of their post credit scenes. Because I actually just recently watched Morbius.
Oh God.
I just watched Morbius like the other night.
Hmm.
It was okay. Want to start from the beginning of this. Jared Leto as Morbius. Yes. Jared Leto as Morbius. I'll say it again. Yes.
Okay.
The storyline for Morbius? Hell no. Absolutely not. Like, no. That is a no on all levels. Absolute hell no. That was just that movie. Oh my god, that storyline was so everywhere and so forced and fast paced and like like superhero movies never go well when the part of the story where they're finding out their powers is a montage.
Well,
When
yeah.
when you montage the hero getting their powers, it never goes over well. because it's supposed to be an origin story, dude. It's supposed to be an origin story. You're supposed to those are the points you're supposed to focus on. There's 3 points: them getting their powers, them developing their powers, them perfecting their powers. Don't spend much time on the perfecting of the powers. That's not the important part. That's not what we came to see in the origin story. What we came to see in the origin story is how they got their powers and how they learned to use their powers. So it's just I don't know. I didn't like it. I like the ambiance of the movie. The ambiance was great.
Ambiance.
Ambiance. I don't know. Just the feel of the movie. I liked it.
Okay.
The feel was good. The story was not. Story was not.
Well,
absolutely not.
Here's my thing with that, and this is my thing with Kamala Khan, is that one of the biggest things with a supervillain movie, excuse me, with a superhero movie, is the villain.
Yes.
Like the villain can make or break the movie. That's case point. Period. Like people talk about Jack Nicholson still playing the Joker. People still talk about Heath Ledger playing the Joker. We can talk about the Shredder with the Ninja Turtles. I mean, there's a lot of characters from comics to screen, and it's like, you have different versions of the character being played by different actors. Like look at Michael Shannon playing General Zod opposed to Terrence Stamp playing General Zod.
Okay.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of villains who bring out better characters in their heroes, or truly make the hero question their morals or their beliefs. Like one of the best parodies between a hero and a villain, in my opinion, was in Hellboy 2: The Golden Army with Hellboy and Prince Nuada.
Yeah. Yup. Like I don't like that movie. I felt like that movie was really good in the sense of especially the relationship between the hero and the villain. Like I said, like you just said, sometimes it takes the villain to really bring out the truth in the hero.
Right.
Like I feel like at the end of the first Hellboy movie, Ron Perlman, as much as I love David Harbour, we don't talk about that. Well, we will talk about it after. I definitely want to talk about that because I'm actually going to rewatch it later. Yeah. So Ron Perlman's Hellboy at the end of the first movie, he still wasn't complete. There still wasn't that he still was going through that hero's journey. There was still so much more of his character. Like, okay, he's learned the truth about him and like what he's made for and what he's from, but he still never kind of came to terms with what he is. After that, it was kind of like, oh my God, I'm a monster. I'm actually here to end things, kill things, horrible things, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But in number 2, we see him grow because of that conflict with the prince.
Right.
We see him start to come to terms with just because you're not like, just because you're from a certain era doesn't mean you are meant to be that. Because even though the prince was from this prestigious Fae, everything, he was a damn psychopath.
He was the militant leader his people needed.
Yes, I agree. I feel that, but now Hellboy looks at himself as like, all right, I may have been made for destruction, but that doesn't mean that I have to be that. You know what I mean? Instead of being the fire that burns, that scorches the earth, I can be the fire that lights the way. And I feel like, especially within that, he in fact ended up learn how to become a leader, because doesn't he end up becoming the leader of the Golden Army? I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, he winds up gaining the power to lead them, but he doesn't actually do it because Liz
Yeah,
destroys the crown.
exactly. Yeah. But then especially at the end when him um with her telling him that he's having kids and having twins, you know what I mean? That I feel like that made even I'll even say his story still isn't done. The Ron Perlman Hellboy, his story's not done to me.
Oh, we
His story
definitely should have got a third one.
definitely should have got a third one, but the creator of the Hellboy comics got butthurt and pissy about the way that Guillermo took it. He's like, "Oh, I like it. It was great, but it wasn't to the comic books." Well, you see what happens when you decide to take things to the comic books.
Mhm.
Now look at you. You got a real bad Hellboy movie on your hands.
Right.
Only good thing I can say about that Hellboy movie was David Harbour.
I didn't
That's
see it, so I can't voice my opinion on it.
well, it's on HBO Max. So
Oh,
you can give it a look see. It's on HBO Max. Give it a look see and come back to me,
all right.
because I'm telling you, because we're a lot alike. You're going to laugh hysterically, hysterically. Like, it's that bad. It's that bad. Where I actually cut the movie off because I was watching a bootleg. I didn't spend money to go see it. I was watching a bootleg, and I cut the movie off. I legit cut the movie off. I think it was like 15 minutes into the movie, and that was just the narration.
Oh my god.
That was literally the intro narration. The ex you know the ex you know the explanation for the setup for what the hell's going on, what's gonna happen.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually kind of funny. I can't lie.
And I will say this: after this movie, my respect and love for Mila Djokovic is gone. It's gone.
Listen, the Fifth Element gave her an eternal pass. All right.
And Hellboy threw that shit out the window. Because I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. But Hellboy took that pass and threw that shit out the window. Why she would read that script and be like, "Oh yeah, I'll be in this movie."
Uh, well, but see, the thing with that is that sometimes that's not always the case. Also, a lot of times scripts get rewritten halfway through, or stuff gets changed. Like they were talking about that with Judge
Oh,
Dredd.
oh
One of
yeah.
the issues they were having with that is that Sylvester Stallone wanted more comedy in the movie, so they kept rewriting it as they were making it.
Oh damn. Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
That's another one of the reasons. Like for example, like you talk about having a comic book actor and shit. Like in fucking X amount of years since Judge Dredd's been printed, you ain't once seen Dredd's face. You see Sylvester Stallone's face within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like when you're, I 100% agree. When you're adapting something from page to screen, you absolutely 100% should take some creative liberties with it, because as we all know, some things just don't translate well to the screen.
I mean, yeah, because you could have material that's considered offensive or wrong. Like that's why they called Mbaku and not the
The
mayonnaise.
mayonnaise. Yeah.
Disney knew what they were doing, or like the whole thing with Nightcrawler. how they gave him the angelic symbols, and then opposed to having him covered in fur because there's no way that would transfer well. Although I'm confused at how they had him mark himself like that with him being a devoted Catholic, because wouldn't that be self-mutilation? But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get what you're saying with that, but it's also like if I wrote it this way, I want you to follow it as closely to this way as possible. Like if there's an issue, at least consult me before you start changing shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like what they did with Help, dude. Like Abe's not even in the movie, bro.
Yeah, that I'm aware of.
It's a whole different squad. Whole different squad. What was his girlfriend's name? Was it Lilith?
It was
Lila?
Liz.
What was it?
Liz.
Liz. I know
Well,
something with Liz.
the one that was
Yeah.
pyrokinetic.
Yeah. She not in the movie. Got some dude that's a were-jaguar. And some psychic medium that she can like fight the dead. She can punch a ghost. Her ability is she can punch a ghost.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Well, she doesn't even know what she can do until she accidentally does it.
Right.
We have an Asian were-jaguar with anger issues. A snarky 20-something-year-old I would say this, super powerful psychic medium. And a demon spawn.
It's a very interesting lineup.
Yeah. Now, when I first watched this movie, like I said, I turned it off in the first 15 minutes for the narration because I was laughing too hard. Started watching it again. And then it gets ridiculous. They decide that they're going to go into some lore, some Hellboy lore. And the movie shits the bed even more.
Wow. All right. That's real special.
It's real special. Like when I say
you're telling me to watch this movie, you're not really selling it to me well at all.
No. Watch the movie to get your own. I feel like I will say, yeah, even though the movie wasn't good, it's an experience. it's a special experience, and to truly understand what I'm saying, like you got to watch it and experience the movie yourself. Because, okay, I'll put this Hellboy movie on the level of the first Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
So much potential. So much potential. Like if you watch it, it's gonna piss you off because you're like, oh no, why did you do that? You could have did this. Why did you do that? It should have been like this. It should have been like that. Especially as writers, this movie's gonna drive you crazy. Because at some point you're gonna get lost and be like, wait, what was happening again? Dude, I'm telling you, this movie is a journey, bro. It's a whole journey. Because when I say we go from, even setting wise, it's a journey. We go from like inner city, like UK, right? To now we are out into the grasslands of like what looks like Greenland or New Zealand, to the Rocky Mountain cliffs of like Sweden or Switzerland or something like that. Like set pieces, the set pieces don't match. it's a fun. It's fun now. It's fun. It's fun. It's 100% fun. I will say that though. So when you get a chance, it's on HBO Plus. It's on HBO Max. Watch it. Because again, David Harbour does very, very well as Hellboy. His Hellboy is very good. If you had to ask me which one I'm choosing, I'm definitely gonna pick the Ron Perlman, but I will absolutely 100% be like, if they take the same character and just put him in a different story, he got it. He said that he did great. On top of the fact, bro, when I say he got jacked for this role. Because we see him in Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
My guy is a ball of blubber. But then you see him in Hellboy, and throughout the production of Hellboy, he showed his transformation and some of his workout routine. Bro, he got jacked, bro. He got ripped. And then, yeah, bro, I don't know. I just feel like Hellboy needs to be redone again. And the original creator needs to stay out of it. But I am interested to see, because I remember correctly, Hellboy is a part of he's Dark Horse. But Dark Horse is owned by DC.
Are they?
Is it DC or Marvel? They're owned by either DC or Marvel, because I know Spawn is Dark Horse as well.
No, I thought Dark Horse was a completely separate entity.
It is, but it's a subsidiary. Like they own, so it's just another publishing company that they own. Either they own Dark Horse or they own certain rights to certain Dark Horse characters.
That might make sense. Well, that's the thing too, because ownership is constantly changing hands, because we were talking about how the Aliens are now owned by Marvel.
The what?
The Aliens, like Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like James Cameron, his Alien series, that's owned by Marvel now. So we were talking about, So we were talking about how is it a matter of time before we see them like in the MCU, or they're crossing galaxies and they run into them? Like, how would all that work? Because I'm also curious. I'm also very curious if they're going to do the whole thing with Does that mean that they also own the rights to the Predator?
Well, the thing is, because if I remember correctly, Aliens and Predator are Fox. They're owned by Fox. They were owned by Fox. Disney now owns Fox. So Disney now has the rights to Alien and Predator. And because Alien and Predator are within the same universe, then it would only make sense that Predator's also owned by them as well. Because Predator is owned by their parent company. So it would make sense. So I take it back. Yes, Dark Horse is their own separate entity. So it's like Sin City, Hellboy, Buffy, Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars is owned by Disney now too.
Yeah, which is interesting. So so I think it might be Disney, because because the way I'm looking at it here, Dark Horse has published many licensed comics, including comics based on Star Wars, Avatar: Last Airbender, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Aliens, Predators, Terminator. So though all those properties are owned by Disney at this point, except for Avatar: The Last Airbender and Buffy. It also looks like they also published the Umbrella Academy comics. Touching back on that real quick, the original for Umbrella Academy, they did that too. The Mask. Wait, which The Mask?
I'm assuming the one involving
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yep. Because you know what The Mask I was thinking of, right? I was thinking of Jet Li's The Mask.
What?
Black Mask. That's what I was thinking of. Jet Li, the Mask by Jet Li. That movie. Remember that movie?
No.
You don't remember that movie? Oh, come on, man.
No, I thought you were talking about the Phantom for a second.
Oh no. I would love to see that bring back though. I would love to see that come back though. It was Black Mask. Black Mask by Jet Li. It's an old 90. It came out in 96. It was one of those. So it was supposed to be a spinoff of Kato from Green Hornet. So he was supposed to be a Kato-esque character. He looks just like Kato.
Well, that okay, so that makes sense. All right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, dude, if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. It came out. It gives you Blade vibes, bro. Blade vibes, like Wesley Snipes, Blade 1. Like,
he said some stupid motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Right? I'm telling you, it's yeah, just don't watch number 2 though. Don't watch number 2 because it's not Jet Li, which means it's trash. It's one of those straight to DVD kind of things. And you know it's straight to DVD when Scott Adkins is in it. So
I fuck with Scott Adkins though.
I don't. I feel like his acting is horrible. But his stunt work is godly. God tier. His stunt work and martial arts is God tier.
He's the most complete fighter in the world.
Yeah, I feel like want to know what Scott Adkins reminds me of?
If you say Van Damme, I swear to God.
No, Jason David Frank.
Interesting.
They have one major character and they ride it to death.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
That man, Scott Adkins has rode Yuri Boyka to death. That man, Scott Adkins, has rode Yuri Boyka more than the rest of the prisoners rode Yuri Boyka.
Pause. Super pause.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like you look at him, you're like, Yuri Boyka. You don't even think Scott Adkins. I'm like, oh, that's Yuri Boyka. You don't even think Scott Adkins. When you look at Jason and Frank, you're like, oh, Tommy. You know, it's like, oh, hello?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That was weird. It kicked you out the stream for a sec. That was weird.
Yeah, no clue.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, like I like Scott Adkins as a stuntman and a martial artist. I don't want him to be a main character in any movie I'm watching.
Listen, I said this for a decade. You hear me? He should have been Iron Fist. I don't care what no one says.
I can take him. I would take that. I would take that.
They should have let him be Iron Fist, and then Michael J. White should have been Luke Cage.
No, there's someone else that I wanted Michael J. White to be.
Who? He already played Bronze Tiger on Arrow, which I think he did phenomenal. But
oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like they didn't give Bronze Tiger enough screen time. They absolutely didn't. They didn't give him enough time. Um, I feel like he could have played. He could have played an awesome Blade,
Yeah,
even at this age. But I don't want to say Luke Cage because I don't know. When I think Luke Cage, I think
coffee.
tall. I no, I don't think about coffee. Pause. I don't think about no coffee. I don't want no coffee. I don't think about no coffee when I'm thinking about him. When I think about Luke Cage, I think about like 6'10", bald, dark skin, kind of like from the streets, but family from the South, but raised in the streets of New York. You know what I mean? So he still had some Southern mannerisms, but at the same time, he's from New York. You know, he's from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? And it's also like that super dark skin like motif as well. Tall, dark, bald kind of thing. I can't there was one movie where Michael J. White was bald, and I'm like, that's not it for you, bro. What movie was it that he was bald in?
Talk about the Never Back Down sequel.
Yeah, Never Back Down sequel. I was like, bro, that's not working for you, bro. Because isn't he like 6 foot though? He's tall.
I'm not sure how tall he is. But my whole thing was he can portray street fighting accurate. He can read lines confidently. He comes off like he has a level of subtle intelligence. So it's like to me, he's already there. So he lacks a few inches. Big deal. Pause. My whole thing is like Hugh Jackman was what 6'4" playing Wolverine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I give you that. But my thing about him is that he gives too much agility.
Oh, he can play that down.
Not at all. Not at all. Michael J. White, all his martial arts styles are purely based off like fluid, smooth, like Wing Chun's like Luke Cage is strength, pure strength. When you look at Michael J. White, you're like, this mofo can kill a quarter mile in 3.3 seconds. The thing about Luke Cage is he's strong, but he's slow. It's supposed to be, but I just feel like Michael J. White, he just just like his presence, the way he carries himself, it's just too smooth. You know what I mean? It's way too smooth. And that's what I like about Michael Coulter more so. It's because he was rigid, he was stiff, he was like, because remember his skin is supposed to be like diamond hard.
Mm-hmm.
So with that has to come a bit of rigidity. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to move as wide or as fast as you want to. And also the fact that he's like 6'11", 200 some odd pounds, you know what I'm saying? Of pure muscle.
Yeah, what was it he said in Goodfellas? Paulie might move slow, but that's because he didn't need to move for anybody.
Exactly. Michael J. White, he's made his entire career off of not getting hit. The goal is to not get hit. But also, Michael J. White type old. I mean, age really ain't got really much to do with it. But Michael J. White is in his 50s. He's in his mid-50s.
Listen, if he's still whooping ass, that's all that matters.
All right. Yeah, this is true. I'll give you that. I give you that. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I agree with you 100%. Michael J. White is an amazing actor, amazing martial artist. He's very well rounded, incredibly well rounded. Um, but as Luke Cage, I just want to be able to see it. Don't get me wrong, he's diesel enough, yeah, but I don't know. I just don't feel like he'll be able to fit the energy of Luke Cage. You know what I
Did
mean?
you play Spider-Man Miles Morales?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, he's in that as the Prowler.
yeah. Yep. Now him as the Prowler, yeah, absolutely. If he was to play a live action Prowler, I could do that. I could take that. I'll
But
definitely.
that's not gonna happen, Power. You wanna know why it's not gonna happen? Huh?
Why?
Because Childish Gambino is that character. You didn't know that? He's starstruck right now. He's like, wait, what?
No way.
Son, in Spider-Man Homecoming, when he interrogates him, that's who Childish Gambino is supposed to be. He's the Prowler.
Oh, really?
Because remember, he speaks to Peter Parker. He's like, I don't want those weapons in this area. I got a nephew that lives here.
Yeah, I know. I know that. Oh shit! I didn't think he was actually supposed to be. I thought it was just supposed to be like a little nod to ha 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 because he plays the voice of Miles.
Nah, it was both.
It was both.
Because it's one of the things like it is that little nod, but it's also like, you know, he was supposed to be the Prowler. That's who his character was supposed to be.
I need to look up this man's IMDb because if I look up his IMDb and it tell because it's more than likely going to tell the name of that character. No, not Solo Spider-Man. Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, how you feel now, P?
I don't know how I feel about that.
You should feel wrong and cheated. That's how you should feel.
Absolutely. Because like I just don't see how the timelines are gonna match up right. If they decide to do Miles Morales, they're gonna have to go the way the comic book did it. He's from a different universe, universal crossover, and he ends up in the main universe.
I agree. Well, or you're forgetting the whole thing with the snap. So it's like between Homecoming and modern day, we've got what, a good 7 years that have passed? Because the snap alone was 5 years.
Yeah, but then Peter's still younger. How can Peter train Miles because Miles is supposed to be younger than Peter?
But they never said how old his nephew was. So it's like his nephew could have been 5. So if we've got a good 7 years that's passed, that'd make him 12.
Oh yeah, 12. Yeah. And then but because Peter is technically still what? How old was he supposed to be when in Civil War?
15, 14, somewhere in that time span.
So boom, 5 years. Technically, he's supposed to be like, he's supposed to be like 20. Huh. So yeah, he'll be about he'll be about 22. At this point in the Marvel timeline, he should be about 22, even with the 5-year snap.
Then you figure that between the training with the other two Peters, you figure everything that happened with him facing off against the Fatal Five. We're not going to say the Sinister Six.
Yeah,
So
the Fatal Five. Yeah.
so him dealing with them five, then the whole thing with him having to go out on his own now because no one even remembers who he is. So we'll see what happens because I'm thinking that potential is there, and I think it actually would be better with him training him, them having a closer age dynamic
Yeah.
because it makes them more partners opposed to master and apprentice.
You're right. Yeah.
Speaking of master and apprentice, um, Kenobi.
Ah, yes. Greatness. Greatness. How tall is Donald Glover? That was greatness. Honestly, I don't even really want to talk about. I can only say one thing about the rest of the series. One thing about the rest of the series, I love the fact that they explain how Leia knew who Ben was. Because remember, Luke is like, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi." She's like, "Ben? He's here? Where is he?"
Yeah,
So she knew who Ben was. I love how they built their dynamic and their relationship. Kind of messed up the fact that they left Luke out of all that. Yeah,
hello there.
yeah, because I never knew, I never understood. Never mind. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's probably for another episode. That's for another episode. We have more time to really dive into to the because the lore of Star Wars is it's vast. It is vast. So
Super
in
bad.
order Yeah, so in order to really dive into that, we need time. We need an entire 2 hours to sit and talk about that, and even then, we still won't be done. Like I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how tall my Donald Glover is. Fuck, how tall is he? Wow, nowhere has his height. Nowhere has his height at all. 'Cause I would. All right, he's 5'9". He's my height. Me and him are the same height. Huh. Me and him are the same exact height. I don't know. I would like yeah. I mean, I can see it, but I don't know. I don't know. Just because Prowler is kind of Diesel, Childish is not that Diesel. We know Childish can pull off the bald look if he wants to do the if they go the bald route, he can definitely pull off the bald look. And like you said, about 7 years have passed, so a lot could have happened. So yeah, I can definitely whew, I can definitely see that. Um
But I mean, also like my biggest thing with that would be is like with Spider-Man, and this is one of the things I thought was interesting with the whole Miles Morales game
mhm.
was we didn't really get Miles doesn't really have a rogues gallery of his own.
No, not yet, no.
So it's like if they establish that a little bit better, I think that there's potential there and that could work.
Mhm.
But it's like he's got to have like his own villains, his own rivalries, his own issues with his own bad guys. The second they get that set up and going, they'll be fine
Yeah,
and
because
it's
I
done
really
well.
because I love the way the game did it. The game did it very well. Very, very well. Yes, we see him fight um like a lot of Spider-Man, but a lot of Spider-Man's roles gallery, but at the same time it makes sense because they're in the same area.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So if that's a villain that's patrolling that era, that's why, in actual comic books we see more villains and heroes and other heroes crossing over. Like we get, sometimes we see, we've seen Iron Man take down Rhino sometimes, stuff like that. You know, it's that I like that. But at the same time, I feel like that brings in the dynamic of like, do the stronger heroes just look at the weaker villains like, nah, I'm gonna let your guy get you.
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances. Like if the like if Luke Cage saw the Rhino tearing apart Harlem, yeah, he gonna have an issue with that. But it's one of them scenarios like, okay, if let's say Mysterio, excuse me, no, the vulture's flying over the city wreaking havoc. Yeah, Peter, you might want to get down here.
But at the same time, we got to look at it as also like Vulture wreaking havoc, flying over Queens, flying over Manhattan. Iron Man, you know what I
And
mean? Why
fuck
Iron Man can
Iron
fly?
Man.
I know. I knew what you're gonna say before I said it, but like when it but you know what I'm saying? Like, or any other hero from New York that can fly. You know what I'm saying?
I prefer to see
Like,
Thor.
do you like exactly? Vultures are flying around. Thor just happened to be in an area. Bang! Lightning. Done. Right? Or is he gonna be like, hey, Thor to Spidey. I got Vulture down here, causing some trouble. Lower side of Queens. Can you get over here? Like, really, or no? If he's gonna be like, oh, hey, Vulture, bing, keep it moving.
Yeah, all of a sudden the millionaire just fly. He just throws as hard as he can and just smacks him in the head.
Exactly. He's just Vulture just flying around. Ha 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 ha. Bing. It's over. It's over, and the police show up and arrest him. Thor doesn't even have to stay. He can just keep flying off and call
Like,
Milner
take
back
that,
later.
foul Birdman.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I don't know. It's just that's always been something I've always wondered. If all these heroes existed in the same universe, why the hell do these villains think they can keep coming when you literally have gods? All right, Vulture, you may not be scared of Spider Man, but I bet you're damn sure afraid of somebody that can control lightning. Bullets can't hurt him. You know what I'm saying? I think I'd be a little worried about a man in a metal suit that has thousands of metal suits. He has a suit for every occasion.
Mm-hmm.
If I was the Shocker, I'd be worried about a 6'11" tall black man punching me in my chest within that has unbreakable skin. Honestly, on a normal day, whether I'm Shocker or not, I would be scared of a 6'11", dark, tall, dark, and scary black man with impervious skin punching me in the chest. Either way,
Like, yeah, they call
um,
me the Shocker. Really? This is why they call me Power Man.
bomb. What's your wife name? We're gonna get some coffee after.
Hey, Mr. Schultz, you like it tall, dark, and hot?
Like, I don't know. That's just something that's always baffled me about the Marvel, at least about Marvel, because like, if you look at, if you go into DC, like the DC villains ain't got to worry about that because each hero literally has their own city. Superman Metropolis, Batman Gotham, Flash, Center,
Central.
Coast City. No, Coast is Green Lantern.
Yes.
Coast is Green Lantern. Well, he has an entire fucking
Sector
sector,
space.
but still,
Except
like
for
they
Gotham. It's the
set
Green
set
Lanterns cannot go in Gotham without Batman's permission.
yeah, stingy ass. Um, but like But yeah, like fucking Heat Wave ain't got to worry about Batman rolling down on him. He ain't got to worry about Superman rolling down on him. He ain't got to worry about the Green Lantern or Wonder Woman rolling down on him. You know what I mean? All he got to worry about is Flash running over him.
Full on A train. I can't stop. I can't stop.
Oh God. But yeah, he ain't gotta worry about that. But in Marvel, everybody is everywhere. As a villain, you can literally rob a bank in Queens and get jumped by Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
If he so wished it.
Like, ain't you supposed to be in Brooklyn? Next thing you know, you got a bully club going across your mouth.
Sorry, I got lost. I'm blind. I can't see.
Actually, no, they wouldn't know that.
Oh yeah, true. Perfect. I got more time. Yeah, definitely. Perfect. All right, 8:30 to 9:30. All right, perfect. Oh man, like trying to think what other only villain that I feel like anyone really has to really come together for is like if Fing Fang Foom attack.
Oh my!
I'm talking about like a full dragon, not Iron Man 3 Fing Fang Foom.
No, you don't want to see the one on the billboard again.
No. I'm talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance Fing Fang Foom. Big green alien dragon, or know what I'm saying? Well, let's like imagine that. Imagine being a villain. Imagine being like Black Cat. Imagine being Black Cat.
Felicia Hardy. Go ahead.
You're in the middle robbing like a jewelry store, middle of the night. Next thing you know, you're falling through like 16 different portals continuously because Doctor Strange ran down on your ass without you paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do? You can't like why do Marvel villains keep trying to villain?
Falling in a day's work, fucked up childhoods, absentee parents.
At least DC villains, they come together at some point. Like, yo, bro, I'm tired of getting my ass beat, bro. They have group counseling sessions when they go to the
Legion of Doom.
Yeah, Legion of Doom's headquarters. That's all that is a huge therapy session. They all just sitting there talking about how they got beat up today.
They all sit in a giant dome that looks like Darth Vader's head.
Exactly. And just talk about how they got beat up today. And you got Lex Luthor walking out talking about Lex Luthor walking out like a fucking Pinky in a Brain. What are we gonna do today, Brain? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Take over the world. Like I oh man, I swear I feel like, and they at least always try to come together to make an idea to get one over on the heroes. And a lot of the time they come real close to succeeding when they come together. There's been plenty of times where they've come real close.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the only villain in Marvel that could come close to taking over the Earth, we all know who that one sir with a PhD is.
With a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
You said Marvel villain?
Uh-huh. The only one who I feel in Marvel has a chance to truly take over the world and can truly lay a smackdown on any of Marvel's heroes.
Killmonger?
No. Doom.
Man, oh my God. Here we go. Now, see, this is what I think the issue is with the Marvel Universe so far. And it's funny that we actually just came back to this because there is no big bad guy around the corner no more. Ever since the end of Avengers, we knew that the bad guy manipulating shit was Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
You figure Avengers was what, 2012, and then Endgame was what, 2019, 2020?
Yeah, 19.
So yeah, so you had a whole almost a whole decade of him manipulating shit, because he's been manipulating shit ever since the fucking the Tesseract appeared. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
so
I mean,
I think
and
like with the whole thing with Doom is like if they revealed him to be like the up and coming new bad guy, especially with them doing the Fantastic Four, that could work.
it could. It most certainly could, but at the same time, it's like, uh it all depends on if they do it right. Like, we know they're more than likely going to do it right. We know, but it's like they could either go Doom or Galactus. Are they going to jump straight to Galactus, or are they going to take that small cosmic step to Doom? Because they've already introduced the Celestials, and they already introduced. So it's like, and now with Thor, they're introducing the rest of the God Pantheon. They're introducing the God Butcher Gore, and of course, as we all know, if you haven't been putting the dots together, Gore has an all black blade. That all black blade belongs to Null, king of the symbiotes, who was the one person that was actually able to kill a Celestial, who was also the creator of the symbiotes. So they opened a whole door to that cosmic realm already. It would be, especially with, Captain Marvel and stuff, it would truly, really be a shame if they took a step back and went down to Doom. I feel like Doom needs to be granting, because they've opened up too many doors right now. They've opened up too many doors. At least with the last one, with the last arc, the Infinity arc, we all knew there was one set direction that they were going in. One door that was opened. One door that they're walking through. But now they've opened up the door to Mystic Realm. They've opened up the Cosmic Realm. Now, like, what else? What else? They've opened up the Quantum Realm, which I would count that as technological. You know what I mean?
What if zombies?
What was that?
I said, what if zombies?
Yeah. So they've opened up all these. They've opened up the multiverse. Let's say it that way. They've opened up the multiverse. So now, what are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with this multiverse? They open up. It's sitting there. We've all saw, or if you haven't seen, you better go see what they did with Multiverse of Madness. And it kind of just like, honestly, gave you a big, nope, not going to go there. You need to go watch it. Not even going to go there. You need to watch it. You need to go watch it. It's a mind-blowing movie. I'll be honest with you, as I was watching it, I felt as if I'll say a bit, but honestly, I'll be honest, my excitement got stretched very thin. And honestly, it was like, and at some points it was like a mental, like, it was as if I got like, it was as if my because I felt like it was so many places that it felt like my neck, mentally my neck got snapped. And at certain times I was like, at some points I was speechless throughout the movie. It was as if, like, I didn't have a mouth. But I even at and then at some points it was as if I was like I was torn in two.
And then
Oh,
other times it was like you were just buried under the sheer weight of what you were seeing.
right, right. And then I'll be honest, towards the end, it was like I came back to life, but I was still like dead in a way. I don't know. It was a very weird movie, very
Like
weird
being
movie.
run through a giant cheese grater,
Yeah, right.
just in pieces.
Like as if like I was impaled on a fence after playing piano. Yeah, it was a lot. There was so many. There was a lot of different feelings throughout that film. A lot of different feelings. But
Mm,
I will say, I really felt like that movie was really hopping borders.
it definitely was. Definitely was. Now, the question I just realized because I went back and watched What If Over, right?
Yeah.
Now, was that creature with the one eye that was in the beginning of the movie? Was that the same one that the other strange absorbed into his body after 12 tentacles?
I don't think so. Like because that creature, he's supposed to be a specific creature. Because I think he's in like Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let me remember. What was it? What was it? Marvel versus Capcom 2. Roster playable characters. Shuma Gorath. It was Gorath. Yeah, he was Shuma Gorath. Yeah, Doctor Strange, Marvel Prime Premiere. Yeah. Oh, wait. Heroic Signature holds the rights to Shuma Gorath name due to due to his use in Howard's story, along with additional elements related to Conan the Barbarian and Call of Atlantis mythos. Oh, so that's why they couldn't call him Shuma Gorath in the movie. I was hearing that they didn't own the rights to his name. They own the
Always,
rights to the character, but they don't own the rights to the name.
always comes down to money.
Seriously, seriously. But yeah, so Shuma Gorath, yep, and then I'm just gonna copy this name. Bong. And then I would like to see. Would like to see. Bong bong. What's if? Do, 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 do. But here's the other thing. Also about what if was Shuma Gorath also the thing that grabbed Steve? Was Shuma Gorath the thing that ended up coming through the portal when they turned on the Tesseract? Yeah, yep. The champion of Hydra. So that raises an interesting question. Was is Shuma Gorath the champion of Hydra? So that's actually very interesting. So yes, the answer is yes. Yes, he was. Yes. He was. That's interesting.
What?
Yes. So yes, Shumagorath. Yes. To answer your question, yes, he was the thing that Strange absorbed. He also was the thing that came through the portal in the first episode of What If with Peggy, the tentacle thing that she fought. That's
Mm.
why when in the finale of What If, when he opens up and he lets out the tentacles, that's why she looked at him like like she noticed like he got tentacles. You know, at first some people are gonna be like, "Oh wow, she just super horny," but no, it's just like she noticed the tentacles was the tentacles that came at her before. Yeah, we are just gonna gloss over what I just said. Um, come on, all right, whatever. Um, but yeah, you still with me? I don't know. I think you muted or you cut out.
My fault. I'm still here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Um, but yeah, it's just yeah. So yeah, so to answer your question, yes, he is. He is all the. It's all the same person. It's all the same person. So I forget where I was going with that. But yeah, they opened up so many different doors and well, within the MCU, and now it's hard to pay attention to see where they're going to like what door they're going to walk through because different doors have different villains. If they stay on the
Mm-hmm.
if they stay on the cosmic route, they're going to run into Galactus.
Galactus.
You know, if they keep running through the the technological route, or going through like with Ant-Man stuff and everything, they're eventually going to run in because all right, now the quantum realm is something that I do not understand very well. Like how I gotta watch Endgame again and figure out how they were able to go through the quantum zone and end up back in time. I didn't understand that when they explained it, or at least I did when they first explained it, but now I don't anymore. Like I don't know. I would like Doom. I feel like Doom should be their next step because now what they have Doom, they already set it for Kang, Galactus, like because locally they set up for Kang being the next big bad, but they haven't expanded on any of that whatsoever. Like I don't know. And Spider-Man with the multiverse, I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much that they opened up that it's hard for me to follow them right now.
He said, like, why is this cape blowing in the wind? Because wherever the wind goes, wherever I go, the wind follows. Like, what?
I just I personally would like to see Doom because I feel like he needs a redemption.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a redemption after Fan Four Stick.
Which one?
Fan Four Stick.
Is that what we call it?
Yeah, that's what we call it. We call it Fan Four Stick. The last one. The last one. When Ben Grimm, the thing is a big ass boulder monster. Want to know what he reminded me of in that movie? You ever see it was a Tim Allen movie. It was a parody
Okay.
of Lost in Space.
Galaxy Quest?
Galaxy Quest. Remember the big giant boulder monster that they fight on that one planet? He was literally made of rocks and boulders. Like
Not
that's
Korg.
what was that? No,
Not
no,
Korg.
no. Korg looks great. Korg looks great. But when I say I prefer the rubber suit by Michael Chiklis, I prefer the rubber suit. It literally looked like they assembled a bunch of sentient boulders and fan forced it. Sentient boulders. It was like they asked Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, to have intercourse with a rock.
Pause. Super pause.
And he had like a giant rock baby. It was horrible because as he moved, they had it so you could see like the rocks were like grinding against each other and kind of like he had like rocks kind of falling, little like rock dust and dirt kind of falling as he was walking. And it's like, no. The thing wasn't a bunch of rocks.
Weird.
Yeah, the thing wasn't he wasn't a bunch of rocks. He wasn't a bunch of rocks. He was a rock. He was one solid piece. He wasn't a bunch of them put together. It was one solid piece. And again, as much as everyone wants to talk bad about the first two Fantastic Four movies, the Fox Fantastic Four movies, I thought they were good.
So did I.
I personally can't complain. Everyone's like, "Oh, but they did Galactus so wrong." That's the only thing that people complain about.
Yeah, but it's also one of them things like, how do we do Galactus and do him justice? Because first and foremost, we have to remove that big ass iconic helmet. Or they have to fix it so the helmet doesn't look as goofy.
This is true. This is true. I mean, even then, not really, because if we look at the Celestials,
the Thors, then Chris.
Oh man, you're cutting out really bad. I can't hear anything.
Okay, you said if you look at the Celestials, go ahead.
Oh yeah, if you look at the Celestials and the way they are built and set up, they can most definitely pull off Galactus, even with the goofy helmet. Because if you look at Nowhere, yeah, you look at Nowhere, you got he's a big old head. Which I think Nowhere is the head that Null cut off the Celestial. Nowhere is the Celestial that Null killed. I highly believe that. I believe he's the one that he killed and the one that he experimented on to make the symbiotes. I most definitely wholeheartedly believe that.
Well, that would make sense. And once again, that'd be everything coming full circle again.
Mm-hmm. But no, they can most definitely do Galactus. Maybe not back then. But again, Galactus is bigger than the Earth. I chalk that up to just seeing all the clouds and stuff. You think a giant thing putting his finger through our atmosphere to try to eat the Earth, you think that's not going to cause some, weather issues? You think you're not going to have some climatic calamities and catastrophes? So people just, I don't know, people they complain about the original Fantastic Four movies, but literally the only complaint that they have is with Galactus, and that's in the second movie.
Right. Well, I really didn't care for Jessica Alba being the Invisible Girl. Did you?
Oh, I cared. I cared very much so, but not for the acting. Not for the acting at all. And that's all. We'll leave it there, just because we're streaming on Twitch too. We'll leave it at
Right, right,
that.
right.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, I felt like they could have found a better actress or actor for her in those movies, because I definitely felt like she was not able to play to she wasn't able to play a smart character.
Well, I want.
Because Susan Storm is supposed to be just equally as smart as Reed Richards, who is the smartest man, one of the smartest men in Lord. She's supposed to be almost just as smart as him. But I feel like the
Right.
character that they had Jessica Alba play, they didn't give her any of those intellectual moments to shine. Really,
She was
they
more
only had
motherly.
yeah, absolutely. They gave her like only time they gave her intellectual scenes is when it was to progress the story. We didn't really see her contributing to any of the intellectual conversations that were being had. Really, I don't know.
I memean, I agree, but it's also one of those things like the dialogue, like that, was only really back and forth between Doom and Victor.
Exactly. That it was more of a. Uh, I mean, you mean Doom and Reed.
That's right. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, even then, it's just like with that, it's like the movie. Yeah, the movie was just between those two, about those two's rivalry.
Hmm.
And then also fighting over Sue.
Hmm.
But I feel like it was written very well. I didn't find any like super corny super corny lines in there. The only super corny line I remember is the ending of number 1, where he's like, Victor, you remember what happens when you superheated metal?
Hmm.
You know, and even then that scene was amazing. That fight scene was amazing with them, because the thing about the Fantastic Four is that that family is very good at using their abilities together to
Right.
enhance each other. The way they had Johnny go supernova, as well as having Sue use her force field to contain the supernova so it doesn't kill everything, and then on the second half, have Ben use his strength to rip off the fire hydrant, and Reed uses elasticity to redirect the cold water. Like I felt like that was very well written and choreographed. You know what I'm saying, and just like with dialogue wise. So people need to stop hating on that movie. All the hate needs to go to the fan force. Like I kind of feel like that should take all the heat now. Just take all the heat now. I'll be honest with you. I thought we had less time, but we have more time than I expected. So, Kenobi. Hello there.
I
So,
I was waiting for them to expand on that for so long, and I am happy that they put Aiden Christensen back in the suit,
amen.
because one of the things that they always talked about with the prequels, that people felt like Anakin Skywalker was complaining, that people felt like he was whining, but we see him spar with his master as a knight and a Padawan, and he disarms him and beats him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kenobi manages to turn the tables slightly and then still lectures him like he didn't just beat him in combat.
Right? Okay. So, all right. So I wasn't the only one that caught that. like yeah, it's just yeah. Continue because I know you got more. I know you got more to say.
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the things that Anakin always harped about was the fact that he was ready to move on. He was ready to progress. He was ready to move on and move up the ranks. But the thing that everyone was always concerned about was his matters of his head and his heart. Because stuff that took people weeks to learn, he learned in days. Stuff that took people months to learn, he learned in weeks.
Yeah.
He was a true progressor of the force and true wielder of it. And everything came so natural to him, and everyone felt like that breeded arrogance.
I feel like they're the ones that bred the arrogance.
Well, it's also one of them things like, like look at like going back to Marvel real quick, look at Killmonger. Like that was always one of his driving forces. Like I told you before, and we talked in one of our lives before about how, Killmonger as a character means a lot to me because, he's a reminder to be a king and not a coon. Being a black man in America, they real quick to try to paint you a certain way. You step outside the norm, and Lord forbid, you're X, Y, and Z. So I think in that aspect, it was one of them things like where he grew up knowing he was more. He was royalty. He was a prince, and he had this prestigious heritage he came from, and all this knowledge and greatness within him that he could aspire to. So it's like Anakin Skywalker basically got told that exact same thing. Oh, you're the chosen one. You're the one that's going to bring the force back into balance. And it's like, then they wind up casting this person with all this skill into a damn war, a civil war in the galaxy. And then every time you get told you want to move forward or move up or do something greater, oh, you should be humble and sit down and wait your turn.
Right? Like yeah, I feel that's what a problem. You bigged him up so much. You gassed his head up so much. And then when he's like, okay, all right, when he starts feeling it, now you want to be like, oh yeah, no, you're not ready. Wait, but didn't you just tell me that I was ready? I'm doing what you just told me that I should do. I'm literally doing everything that you asked me to do. And you're still not, putting me where you say that I belong. Am I truly the chosen one, or am I just a soldier? Or I'm just a pawn, something to help you against the dark side. Am I really, do you guys really care about me, or are you just using me to your means? Which I felt like a lot of it was truly that, especially at least on Windu's side. I mean, we all know that Windu was also jealous of him as well.
Whoa. I don't know that.
Windu was supposed to be the chosen one. They because he said he was supposed to be the chosen one because the chosen one was supposed to be in balance between light and dark. He's like, I literally do that on a regular basis. I walk around and do that. Every time I open up my lightsaber, I do that. So how am I not the chosen one?
Wait, you're trying to tell me you feel Anakin Skywalker, you feel Mace Windu, the baddest mother in the universe, next to that 2-foot green-haired little midget, was jealous of Skywalker?
I don't think he was jealous of Skywalker, but he was upset and angry that the council turned their attention towards Anakin. Remember, Windu didn't trust him from the beginning.
Yes, you were on this council, but you were not granted the rank of master.
Exactly. That was personal. I felt like he was like, and then he said that I was on the council, but they ain't grant me the rank of master. And I took that personally. And so I wiped out the entire order.
But it is awful. But it is also one of the things like where they say they acknowledge like, yo, we're gonna choose what's done in this room, not the chancellor. So
Yep. You're right. You're right.
But that goes back to Sidious and like him playing the long game, man. Because
Hmm.
I
He knew full well how he knew how afraid and scaredy the Jedi can be.
mhm.
And he used that to his advantage. He knew full well if he gassed up Anakin's head and he went for that master position, they were going to deny him because although they cared for him, they were scared of him. They were scared of the power that he held. Like they were scared of the fact that all right, he's so powerful. What if he decides that he doesn't want to do this anymore and goes to the dark side?
That's an interesting point.
Right? So it's like I feel like he used that. He used the Jedi's and the council's like their hesitancy to push Anakin more to him.
Well, that's definitely what he did. And then
Mm-hmm.
like if you see like how he seek guidance from him and how he spoke to him, like he thought of Palpatine almost like another mentor. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like how because Palpatine was one of the few people he told about the whole incident with his mother and the Sand People, an
Yeah,
incident that Palpatine's actually responsible for.
I believe I heard this before, and I don't remember everything.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be that Palpatine, as Sidious, had the Tusken Raiders abduct Shmi Skywalker, and then Anakin felt it because she was being, tortured and beaten. And then once it got to a breaking point, he had to go find her, and he found her just in time for her to die in his arms because it's implied that Sidious was manipulating the Force life inside of her, and
Oh,
then like once he got to her, she died.
hmm, interesting. Like I said, I heard that Sidious was behind it, but I didn't hear the actual story, like what happened, what was going on. Now, again, that would make sense because, like we said, like as evil as he is, he's pretty damn smart.
Hmm.
We talk about long game. We talk about Vandal Savage and his long game. Talking about Darkseid and his long game. Nah, Sidious is a long. When it comes to playing the long game, he gets the trophy for it. He gets the long game trophy for it, and not
Yeah.
being found out until the very end. Until the very end, and at the end of that, that was a gamble. That was such a gamble. I don't realize that while he's sitting there, while Windu has him on the ground, he's about to finish him off. That was a gamble. At that moment in time, he was testing to see if everything that he had done had culminated and came together to show if Anakin had that loyalty to him.
Yeah, because he said they're glancing back and forth with nigga, save me, nigga.
Right? He was like, yo, like, come on now, like,
Like you see
look
what's
at
about to
me.
happen.
And he used that connection that they had built because Anakin didn't just see him as a mentor. He saw him as a father figure.
Hmm.
And I also feel like that's where Kenobi went wrong.
They,
And that's where Qui-Gon would have went right.
they say that there actually is a version of the story where Sidious manipulated the Force inside of Shmi Skywalker and used the Metachlorians to create Anakin specifically for this purpose.
Which I don't deny. I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility, dude. Because what we've seen, because he apparently has no father, and then we're like, okay, how did Palpatine have a son?
Right?
who's really gonna smash that wrinkly old thing? You know what I'm saying? I felt like it was an immaculate conception thing. He used the force to that, which wow, now he's kind of now thinking about it, he's kind of narcissistic.
He's definitely narcissistic.
He created wow. But that is ingenious though.
He basically created the best. He created the best type of weapon he needed, and that was a protege. That was the result of the living force.
He didn't convert an inside man. He created an inside man.
And then nurtured him, trained him, and guided him his entire life. Once again, long game.
And literally had two of the best Jedi train him.
Right?
Wow. So he didn't have to get his hands dirty at all.
Mm-hmm. And if you watch the Clone Wars series, you see little gaps in his psyche with stuff he did. The way he flew into rages, how quick he was to kill people, like the fact he would execute people without thinking twice about it. I mean, anyone who hasn't seen the Clone Wars, I suggest they watch it because, to me, that's where you get the best look at like his psyche.
Yeah, that's. Hey.
And George Lucas himself said like he never thought of Anakin Skywalker as a villain. He thought of him as a victim.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely. Especially with everything we've seen, absolutely, he's definitely 100% a victim. You know, he didn't have a choice. What he was being manipulated the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I'm really thinking about it. Is could it be? Hear me out on this.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're, I'm just completely going into a what if. Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Completely going to a what if about this. What if Anakin was technically a clone of Palpatine in a way? What if Anakin was the first attempt at cloning, but by using what if that was what if that was a Palpatine experiment? That was the first cloning experiment to see if metachlorians can be manipulated into creating a new life.
That would make sense. That'd make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've played the games and you watch the extra content, you know that people they constantly say, "Oh, you can't clone a Jedi; it's impossible." People have tried; it doesn't work because the metachlorians inside of someone who's a Force wielder are already, I don't want to say enhanced. Yeah, let's go with that. So cloning those metachlorians on that level is damn near impossible already. But if you're someone who manipulated them inside of a living creature and created a whole nother being, yeah, that's kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That wow, that's actually kind of mind blowing. So, and it would make sense why the Skywalker bloodline is so susceptible to the dark side, or at least
Also,
using the Force for dark means.
Also, the fact that why they're also strong potential wise.
Mm-hmm. Because they're pure Force babies.
Right.
And I
Just
use
like
and I use that and I
right.
use the word Force as the double entendre.
Right.
Wow. Hmm. And that would make sense why Luke and Leia weren't as susceptible to it, because like their bloodline is like watered down. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
it's not all Palpatine.
Right. And that also, on the flip side, that makes a lot more sense with Rey, because you figure Rey always felt lost. She always felt like unloved, and it's like how she felt like she was abandoned. If anything, that was giving her more cause to turn towards the dark side.
Mm. And yeah, because that her bloodline was also again watered down as well from Palpatine's blood son, his like blood relative son.
Mm-hmm.
That he more than likely did the same thing that he did with Anakin.
Right.
Is now she's like half Palpatine.
Right. I want to see. I want to see a what if series, like the way they did with the Marvel Universe with Star Wars. Like, I want to see, like, what if Order 66 failed? I want to see what if Mace Windu trained Anakin Skywalker. I want to see what if Darth Maul had killed Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
What if Darth Maul ran over Anakin as a child?
Right. I want to see what if, or like even here, and here's the one I keep saying. Honestly, I would like to see a legitimate series, even if it's only like 12 episodes. I want to see what the universe would have looked like if Kylo had stayed evil and turned Rey.
Oh.
Like, what if it was Supreme Leader Snoke along with Queen Palpatine? Excuse me.
I mean, but even then, we wouldn't be able to get that, because remember, Kylo was essentially just bait. Kylo was just bait. Snoke was a puppet. Kylo was bait. Palpatine wanted Rey.
True.
That was his whole drive for those last three movies. He wanted Rey. He didn't want another. After what the last Skywalker did to him, you really think he's gonna want another Skywalker?
But that's my whole point. Is what if it was, I said Snoke, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren? What if he turned evil after he killed him? What if he was like, you know what? Fuck this. I made my bed. I'm gonna lie in it. My mother's gone. My father's gone in my own hand. The government, the fucking galaxy's in chaos. He's like, it needs a firm hand to bring it back to order. And what if he just turned to her and was like, "Are you with me?" And she's like, "Yes."
And he just sat down at the throne.
Right, and she sat next to him.
That means. And what the last song then?
Well, see, you're thinking about the whole Rule of Two thing, but what if they threw that out the window? You got to remember the Rule of Two was established by Bane so that there will always be someone who embodies the power and someone to covenant. That's the whole point of the Rule of Two. The Rule of Two is supposed to cast the weak out of their order, but we've seen other people break that rule. Like, for example, Palpatine was still an apprentice during the acts of the Phantom Menace. He trained Darth Maul in secret. When he gets elected in the Senate at the end of the Phantom Menace, that night he kills his master in his sleep.
Plagueis, right?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry,
too.
my Apple devices are too close to me.
Sound like she want to be a part of the conversation too. Sound like she
Yeah.
knows what she's talking about. Yeah, I thought so.
I'm not paying Surrey no attention. But yes. So it's like
Oh,
it's one of them scenarios. Like I like because we saw the what if thing and how it works with the Marvel universe. That's why I say if they show that shit with Star Wars, I think that'd be super dope.
I agree. Wait. So, if Plagueis wasn't that far back, have we seen Plagueis already and just not know?
That's a great question too.
That's that gotta be wild being that old and still being an apprentice.
Right? But then again, that depends on when you join. Look at Dooku,
Oh yeah. Yep.
Lord Tyrannus. Because one thing that people always talked about was like, why didn't Dooku's eyes change colors?
Because he hasn't been in it that long.
Well, I didn't take it as that. I took it as two major things. One, when someone becomes a Sith Lord, they basically pledge their life to the dark side. I saw Dooku as someone who saw the corruption in the galaxy and took it for what it was. Like, oh, this person's in charge and this person's pulling the strings. That makes sense. It's better to be the right hand of the devil and be in his way. Like he didn't go to him coveting his power or go to him with a purpose or have an agenda. He just served him. I took Dooku serving Palpatine as one of those things where, all right, yeah, so it was a means to an end. Because don't forget that whole talk he has with Obi-Wan Kenobi about how if he joined him because he found out the truth, they could truly destroy the Sith.
Yeah, so he was essentially a hired hand. He didn't really care. He was like, yeah, I'll go along with it. Yeah.
Right? That
looks like we got some people popping in. Thank you for tuning in. Says Dooku used the dark side for more power, but he never gave in like others. He never fully dived into it. Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah, I never really paid much attention to Dooku. I always thought he was a throwaway character until I saw Clone Wars, and I was like, oh, okay, he's actually in it. But
well, they're supposed to be doing a show that's all about the origin of certain characters in the Jedi. So we're supposed to see a little bit of that dynamic of like a not so much a younger version of him, but like him as a knight. And then like why he winds up leaving the order for his reasons, because and this is another thing I always thought that was very interesting, because we talk about Anakin Skywalker and how he was trained and who trained him. Now Yoda trains Dooku, Dooku trains Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon trains Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan trained Anakin.
Run that by me one more time.
Yoda, Master Yoda trains Count Dooku. Count Dooku trains Qui-Gon, and then Qui-Gon trains Obi-Wan.
Oh.
So right there you have a list of people who are proficiently skilled fighters, whether it be lightsaber, the Force, general knowledge of the universe. Like that's just like a fucking encyclopedia of information right there. And that's only 4 people.
Wow. And especially because Yoda being as old as he is, he's a walking encyclopedia himself.
Right. And one of the things that's interesting and it actually is explained in the books and the comics is that the reason why Qui-Gon trained Obi-Wan the way he did with more of a father-son mentality was because he didn't like the way he was trained by Dooku. Dooku took their relationship as like master-apprentice and that was it.
And that's why he was going to pull that same father-son training with Anakin, because that's what I wanted to say before. That's if Obi-Wan would have done that with Anakin, it would have turned out so much different, because what's the one thing Anakin never had?
A father.
And what's the one thing that Palpatine Sidious was to him?
A father.
A father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And who are you going to listen to more, your father or your brother?
This is true.
Exactly. Obi-Wan treating him as a brother instead of a son. Treating him as a friend instead of family. I don't know. I kind of feel like that also didn't help with his training too, because I feel like Obi-Wan talked to him on the same level as him, which is also like fed into Anakin's arrogance a little bit, because like, oh well, this guy's super strong, he knows everything, he's talking to me like I'm one of them and stuff like that. Yeah, he says I had a lot to learn, but we just sit down, we have these conversations as if we're just on the same level, and not putting like, yeah, listen, like at the end of the day, yeah, we friends, but at the end of the day, I'm still your master. You still, I'm still I'm still training you. You're still under me, like, or treat him like that father figure. I feel like even then, just in general with kids, in general, when you speak to them more so on your same level, they don't understand the power dynamic there.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this guy's name.
Who's?
The one that commented. I'm trying to figure out how to say his Twitch name. Mind you, this comment comes from Twitch. So something rising. Bulge rising? J Bulge rising? I don't know. But thank you. We definitely appreciate your input. But when we start doing more things like this often. Oh. Gotcha. All right. That's it right there. I get it. Gotcha. But yeah, we're gonna be trying to do these more often. We don't just do Star Wars. We do honestly anything superhero, villain, nerdy. We're gonna be doing these a lot more often. We have podcasts, so you're gonna be able to find this right up on Spotify. The Super Breakdown. So if you got Spotify, look us up. Super Breakdown, Power Maximus, and Lord Triage. We decided to do things a little bit differently this time around.
Right. And another thing I really want to find out, that I'm really curious about now with this whole thing with the power dynamic is, and once again, I love the fact that they keep doing more with the Star Wars universe, but I feel like every time they open a door, they don't shut it all the way. Because, well, one of the biggest things was like, I had my sister sit through all the Star Wars movies. She didn't really care for them, but she's like, the one she really liked was Revenge of the Sith. Now, everyone agrees that the more you give into the dark side, it says that you're corrupted by it. So, like, the darker the deeds you do, it's supposed to help fuel the power you gain. So, like, Anakin going into the when he led the raid on the Jedi Temple, when he killed the children, everyone agreed that show was extremely dark. But I think, like, once again, with them being owned by Disney and stuff that's happened, people kind of feel like in hindsight that was a little too dark, because we've already found out he obviously didn't execute every kid he came across.
That's true.
Because with the whole thing with the Inquisitors, and here's another thing, because if you read the comics, Palpatine had been working with the whole thing with the Inquisitors for years before Order 66 had been given. He'd been training people in secret to hunt the Jedi long before that happened. So
my question is, are we sure that it was Anakin that was grabbing the kids up? He could have honestly not even known. And there was other stormtroopers that was snatching him up.
This is true, but hold on. If
that was the case, he wouldn't have stabbed Riva. He wouldn't
But
have
this,
stabbed her. He would have just been like, "Yo, you trying to roll? Trying to roll with us?"
but this also coincides with the whole Fallen Order thing from the game because remember they had to hide the list, the names because they were worried about them finding out about the next generation of Force sensitive kids.
Remember, I didn't finish the game.
Oh god damn it, Power.
But it's okay. It's okay though. It's okay. Keep talking because I'm about to watch a playthrough soon.
Okay, so that was the whole thing is that they had to hide the list of like the next generation of Force sensitive kids. That ties into like the whole thing of with who was skilled in the Force and who wasn't. And it's supposed to be like the council had been finding kids and going out and recruiting them to train them as Jedi. So my whole thing with that is, I'm sorry, I'm looking at another comment.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They did. And I don't know if you watched Obi-Wan, but that's and that's what I was saying. I don't think they haven't shown anything that of Anakin himself taking any kids.
They just had that one scene from Revenge of the Sith where he turns on his lightsaber, and then they said they had the holocron recordings of him doing it. Now, my whole thing is I think they retcon that. I think it's one of them things like they realized it was too dark, so they turned it on its head. So what if he didn't kill every kid he came across? What if there was the ones that he saw the potential in and he took them? Now, if you read the comics, it's revealed that he trained the Inquisitors himself because Palpatine had like a good few dozen of them, and then he gets reports that a third of them have been killed. So he goes to the place where they're being trained and goes, "What's going on?" And then lo and behold, Vader explains that he's took over their training. So Palpatine kind of low-key questions him, and he's like, "Can you explain to me why you're killing off your own soldiers?" And he was like, "Because they fight like Jedi, because they were trained like Jedi." He's like, "That's not what they are anymore. They're Sith now, and they should act like it." Like he wound up burning them, dismembering them. They like members wound up losing arms. That's why they seem so cold and so dark, because they spent the last decade being trained by him. Like you heard the whole expression "pass fail" type shit. Like that's really what he did. If you didn't survive Vader's training, you died.
Calling the herd,
right? So in my mind, I'm thinking to my head, like they explained where the Inquisitors came from, right? But now here's my question. If you have the first brother and second sister and ninth mother and 20th dad and all this other shit, where the fuck did all these characters go between Kenobi and A New Hope? Now that's got to get explained.
Yeah. Now right here he says, I think they will likely retcon, like you said, that and only Palpatine, or maybe they can have it that like Anakin did go through, kill everyone that he could find, but there were some that got away, and Palpatine came through and scooped them up. There's that possibility because, like you said, Vader didn't know. Anakin didn't know anything about that until he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I got the squad for you." Where do you get a squad from? You know what I'm saying?
Like, oh yeah, they were all ex-Jedi. They were all Force-sensitive children that we've been hunting from across the galaxy. Because it never made sense why they would continue to Force hunt children who didn't get recruited by the Jedi. But then, if he was building his own army, that makes sense then.
Now here's the wild part. Where did he get all them troopers for the Final Order?
What do you mean?
If you like, if you watch the last movie, he had like there was tons, dozens of ships for the Final Order, dozen of fighter pilots for the Final Order.
You talking about Order 66?
No. The Final Order. I'm talking about at the end of the last movie, the Final Order. The one
Oh,
that they stopped before.
You're
Yeah,
talking about the whole thing with episode 9.
Yeah, remember that's what he called it. He called it the final order.
Well, that's another thing too, man, because it's like that's never really been explained where they came from.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
what
keep
I'm
talking about
interested
how
in.
they keep talking about the Empire's back and the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, but it's like, all
Where
right,
they
well,
at, though?
who's leading them? Where they at? Like, what's going on? Like, what money are they operating with now? And like, shit needs to get explained just a little bit better. Hopefully, Andor does that.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm interested. But let's
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another question I got is whatever happened to Ventress? Because I'm hoping she pops back up in Ahsoka.
Palpatine is a politician. He is adept in making bodies and government equipment go missing.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's good. That's good. I think on that note, we'll call it for this episode of the Super Breakdown Limited Edition live. So what we're doing these. We're trying to do these every Sunday around 6:00. So if you definitely want to follow, definitely tune in. I also do a little bit of gaming here and there on my Twitch channel. So yeah, definitely, check us out. We got Spotify as well, the Super Breakdown. We only have a few episodes up there, and those ones are more concentrated and focused on one specific character. Whether it be, we have a episode about symbiotes, Black Panther, Black Manta. There's going to be an episode released shortly about Blade. Still working on that and having some technical difficulties, but we'll get it out there. But yeah, definitely tune in next Sunday at 6:00. We will be there. I am Power Maximus. You're checking us out on the Weeks Gaming Network. Or you're checking us out on Weeks Multimedia. Either way, we appreciate you guys checking us out. And I'm Power Maximus. I'm here with none other than the one, the only, everyone's favorite demigod,
Lord Triage.
All right, y'all. Peace. Catch you next time.